Welcome to the Cuentas CINE Youth Fest Film Chat, connecting on and off camera. I'm your host, Raymond Arturo Perez. Cuentas is powered by HITN. Cuentas is not just a festival, it's a vibrant community of young storytellers committed to shaping a more inclusive future in the film and TV industry, both in front and behind the camera. Before we start, I encourage you to check out our website at cineyouthfest.org to check out the top 10 film submissions before we announce the top 3 winners on October 16th. Don't miss the chance to see the incredible talent showcased this year. Your support means everything to these young filmmakers. Before we meet today's guest, here's a little bit more about me.
Raymond Arturo Perez describes himself as a Mexican-American brown nerd from San Antonio, Texas. His friends and family can attest to these facts. He earned his nerdom 7 years in band as an alto saxophonist and 2 years as a drum major. Raymond received a bachelor's in radio, television, and film, and a bachelor's degree in marketing from UT Austin in 2014, and received a master's in screenwriting from the American Film Institute in 2019. He is the current chapter president for the Texas Ex's Los Angeles chapter, the third largest chapter of UT Austin alumni outside of Austin, Texas. That's pretty cool. As a queer Latina writer, Raymond aims to further drive representation in film and television by telling stories of Latinos, queer people, and other underrepresented and historically marginalized communities by centering them on messy, complex, and complicated characters. He was a staff writer on the second season of Netflix's original series, Selena. He was a playwright and producer at the 2018 Brown and Out Fest in LA. In 2022, Raymond was selected as a finalist for the inaugural Stars hashtag Take the Lead Writers Intensive for his pilot, Chola Mom. In 2021, his pilot, The Only Gay in Waco, placed him as a finalist for the inaugural Out Loud list. In 2023, he was selected to be part of Sony Pictures' Television Diverse Writers Program. In 2024, he was part of the Latino Filmmakers Network at the Sundance Film Festival. Raymond is currently in post on his first short film directorial debut, White Space. Our host and star is growing. Yes! When he isn't writing at his table, he can be found on the dance floor, dancing to Brazilian funk and salsa or voguing with his house, the Royal House of Hervé Léger.
Thank you to the team for the wonderful intro. I'm super excited to be here again as the host for this year's conversations. And I'm super excited to jump into ours today. Let's go ahead and introduce our first guest, Jearnest Corchado.
Prepare to be inspired by Jearnest Corchado, a remarkable talent whose journey embodies the power of dreams, resilience, and unapologetic self-expression. Award-winning actress, musician, filmmaker, and activist who fearlessly pursues her dreams and encourages others to do the same through her social media and her unforgettable roles in television and film. Born with an innate love for the arts in San Juan, Puerto Rico, Jearnest began performing at the age of 3 and landed her first acting roles in Puerto Rican television by 8, starring in the series Esto Pasó Aquí and the telenovela Dueña y Señora. At 14, she won Best Talent at Miss America's Teen Puerto Rico and was selected to attend the Celebrity Actors Camp in Los Angeles, where she was mentored by Disney Channel star Adrián Riamante. She landed roles on NBC's The Blacklist, Sci-Fi's Cucuy, The Boogeyman, and the cult indie film Low Life. Best known for her standout roles in critically acclaimed projects such as Netflix's Sneakerheads, Peacock's holiday comedy The Housewives of the North Pole, and Apple TV Plus's Little America, where her performance as Marisol in the Jaguar episode earned her an Imagen Award for Best Actress. In February 2025, Jearnest starred as freestyle music legend Lisa Velez in Lifetime's highly anticipated biopic Can You Feel the Beat? The Lisa story. In August 2025, she released her first single from an upcoming full album project. The song Rojo Trending is really trending on social media.
que ya me aburrí, tengo 100 que me tiran. Los gatos están testing, de rojo me vestí. Ando con la Betty, todas estamos trending.
Her versatility, resilience, and a passion for storytelling have made her one of the most promising Latina talents in Hollywood. Jearnest continues to break barriers and inspire audiences worldwide, and we can't wait to see her shining brighter. Go Jearnest!
Hola, hola.
Hey,
How
how's
are
it going?
you?
Good. Good to have you
I'm
here. Where are you joining us from?
I'm coming from Puerto Rico, all the way from Puerto Rico.
Amazing,
Yes,
amazing.
I'm very excited to be here with you.
Super excited to jump into it. So we want to go ahead and introduce our other guest speaker today, Sandra Berrios.
With a career spanning more than 40 years, Sandra Berrios embodies each of the characters she brings to life with nuance and authenticity. For decades, she has captivated audiences with her powerful performances and unwavering dedication to her craft in theater, television, and film. She is a true artist who continues to inspire with her talent and passion for storytelling. A fierce Latina from Manhattan, her mother Felicita raised her on 105th and Columbus Avenue. She went to the local public schools and graduated with a BFA from City College. In pursuit of an acting career, she met and was mentored by our very own legend, Doña Miriam Colón Valle, founder of the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater. Pursuing her acting career has allowed her the grace to see the world from a different perspective. Now at the tender age of 66, she is still full of wonderment and excitement. She is the star of the short film Capturada, written, directed, and produced by a talented group of students from Connecticut College. Capturada hit the short film festival in May of this year and has already won many awards. This is Sandra's way to give to the young generation a voice. The secret of her eternal optimism is that it's really not a secret. It's something she shares with everyone. This lady is awesome.
Hola, hola.
How's it
What
going? How
a
are you doing today?
good, good. What a beautiful intro. Wow, I didn't know what you guys were going to use. What a beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing. And where are you coming in to us from?
I'm also in Puerto Rico, Vega Alta, Puerto Rico.
Amazing. Amazing. I think that's
Yeah,
one of the really cool things about being virtual is we have people coming in from all over the nation, from Puerto Rico. It's always super, super dope to like be connected through this thing that we have here. And I'm
yes.
super excited to have both of y'all here. Welcome to today's film chat on connecting on and off camera for those watching. Today is going a little deeper into the responsibilities you have, not just when the camera is on, but with everything happening behind the scenes in a world where social media breaks down the barriers between our on-screen talent and our lovely audiences. We heard how authenticity is the bridge. What happens offset inevitably informs the presence we bring on screen. An actor's craft is also about building trust, empathy, and emotional availability, both in front of the camera and in everyday exchanges.
Mhm.
The off-camera preparation, personal well-being, and professional relationships creates a foundation for the on-camera truth that audience connect with. So a lot of folks might be watching, might be just starting out their journeys as storytellers and in the way of acting. So I wanted to kind of start off with Sandra. If you can tell me a little bit about your journey to being in front of the camera and how that has developed and grown over time.
Well, I actually started as a theater major, got a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree from CUNY University, City College up on 135th Street in Amsterdam. Well, not Amsterdam, the next one over. It's been so long, I've forgotten the name of the street. But anyway, I really enjoy theater a lot, but then, you segue into film and episodics. And so that has been because you have to be, it's a totally different medium. So, and it picks up everything. So you don't have to work as hard as you work in the theater. Um, plus, it's just been a very interesting segue, although I prefer definitely theater. Yeah, theater is my love because that's where you really have to, you know, put on your pants, in other words. Yeah.
And Jearnest,
Mm.
similarly, can you tell me about your journey to acting, and as well as how singing has informed your storytelling, and even now going behind the camera as well?
Sure. I mean, I started when I was really little here in Puerto Rico. I was only 8 years old when I started doing acting classes. And then I did a lot of like, actually, my first thing that I did was a television episodic called Esto Pasó Aquí and like Sin Límites. And then I did a novela, which at the time, this was not even happening because unfortunately in Puerto Rico, I feel like they stopped doing novelas like 30 or 40 years ago. But at the time when I was 8, they happened to make this novella and I was part of it. So that was my first time like seeing a set. My background was a little bit of theater, but I feel like I've definitely become more of a film actress, because just life took me that way. I kind of fell in love with the camera. I fell in love with the set life. And then by the age of 15, I was discovered by a Disney camp. It was called at the time Celebrity Actors Camp. And they had these actors from Disney coming to audition a lot of kids. And I was one of them. I got picked. That's another story. I basically did a whole improv. I needed to be on that camp and I found my way to get in the camp. Then by the age of 17, that camp really changed my life because it taught me everything I needed to know about the business. I feel like as actors, we're always thinking about, oh yeah, I want to be an actress and all I need is an acting class. But that camp taught me that I needed to learn about the business and marketing myself and educate myself about everything else. And at 17, I moved to LA. I had an agent and I manifested my way to getting an agent and a manager in a month. I was on CSULA studying theater and film and living the Hannah Montana life, auditioning, anytime I could. And little by little, I just found my way. The first thing that really, in a way, put me on the map was the Blacklist.
For both of you all, can you talk a little bit about, y'all have both a foundation in acting. Where did that connective tissue going into the industry come from? And like, how would you recommend folks for just starting out their careers getting in there?
Well, I would say, at least for me, I think that you have to have a really like a business mindset. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you really got to treat your career like anything else. Like, if you're a doctor, you figure out a way to, be on a hospital. So I think with acting is the same thing. I think that for me, once I got the agent and manager, I feel like everyone's story is so different. And with that, I really can't say what's the right way. There's not really a map in the acting world. You just gotta say yes a lot. Like, start with doing student films, right? Like, start with doing student films, start with doing acting classes, invest in yourself. You're gonna, any money that you can put into your career is always gonna pay back. So acting class, agent, manager, any other skill, like if you can learn how to sing, how to play a sport, that has always come in handy. Whenever I get a role, I feel like they're always asking like, oh, do you play tennis? Or do you, we're doing a horror film, so do you know how to do your own stunts? So things like that are always important.
I totally agree with her you have to start somewhere, but sometimes you do volunteering work and be a reader in an agent's office as well. You just have to get around and be surrounded by the area that you want to focus on. If you want to do theater, then volunteer at a theater, a local theater, or an equity house, even better. Or you can go and if you are interested in film, like she said, student films, make yourself available, register. And like, I'm from New York, I'm a Latin from Manhattan, I just happen to be in Puerto Rico while this is being filmed. But you have Columbia University, NYU, you have all these schools that you can register with, and the students are filming, so you can register and get experience. And you never know where these young filmmakers go. They're so freaking talented nowadays. I'm like, I'm in my 60s now, and anyone in their 20s just totally blows me apart because it's like, wow, they're so focused and they're so good at what they do, and it feels like nothing is going to deter them. So this is basically how you need to be. But also, and I agree with her that she said, whatever sports you can do, but you also have to have an inner, you have to go within, because if you don't go within, you go without. So even though you're doing all these other things outside of yourself to promote yourself, to network, to get an agent, whatever, you also have to take care of your inner self, your spiritual self, because that's really what's going to finally, show on film, on theater, whatever. That's really that alignment, what I call alignment. And then if you do that part of the whole, then you won't have to work as hard because things will just come to you.
Now, both of y'all have hit on this, and I think for a lot of folks that have been in the industry, even those that are just joining recently, the studio system has gone through the writer's strike, the industry has gone through the pandemic, and you guys are talking about kind of taking care of yourselves and like your artistic creation. How are ways that you guys go about doing that to sustain your career, to sustain longevity, and then to be able to kind of turn on when the cameras turn on?
Well, during the COVID, I belong to Barefoot Theater Company, and the artistic director, Francisco Solosano, in order to keep us active, he decided to offer a writing group to the members of Barefoot Theater Company. And I ended up writing a short screenplay, which, by the way, I would like to produce. And that was another segue because I've always written. I mean, I have monologues that I have used, and I've gone to auditions, and I'm like, who wrote that? They asked me, and I'm like, I did. And they go, oh, wow, that sounds like a one-woman show. And I'm like, one-woman show? I don't know about that. But as I get older, I think I'm getting closer and closer to that idea of a one-woman show. But writing, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be something, just writing, just, taking care of yourself like that. Touching base with Mother Nature. Mother Nature is, I think I've hugged todas las palmas de Puerto Rico thus far. It's like, it's like that, just, it's part of the inner work.
Jearnest, I was wondering if there's other areas of community that you turn to during these times, or has social media been a part of that, or is that something separate? If you would like to elaborate.
Yeah, no, I actually love that we're going in this direction because I was gonna say, doing the inner work is really important, and also allowing yourself to live the good and the bad. I think that even the bad is good. Even
Yes.
when you are going through personal things, that will always make you a better artist. One of the things that I've definitely found community in women. This last year, I spent a lot of time. I went through like this awful breakup. I was so sad, and I didn't have girlfriends at the time. And for me, it was really important. It's always very important for me to have women around me. Like, I've always been such a girl's girl, and I feel like the feminine power, like, it's just like, I need that in my life. I need to be able to vent to my girls, and like that community of because it's different. You can have a husband, a boyfriend, and sometimes they don't get it. They don't get it. Like, we gotta vent, we gotta talk, we gotta. So I think in the last year, I've definitely connected with about 10 girls. On accident, we created this club called the Women's Club in Puerto Rico, and it's basically most of them are really like life coaches and women that are very like into el desarrollo personal and all of that. So it's been really interesting and also the fact that they're not actors, it's great too, because sometimes being surrounded by only actors, it not that it clouds your mind, but you need to be exposed to other things.
Yeah.
And I think that I love being surrounded by people that are like motivators and like people that are very spiritual and that we can talk about things about the world, because I feel like in general that evolution, that spiritual evolution, is something that will always help your career. So definitely women, self-love, like having those type of communications about, like, you know, empoderamiento, amor propio, female power, and that support. I feel like that's always important.
That's amazing and very, very powerful, and also just relatable to have your people, like your tribe, your community.
That's
Uh,
right. Yeah.
it gets us through. It gets us through a lot.
Life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I wanted to kind of turn things and ask both of y'all, like, are there any early role models that really inspired you to want to go in front of the camera? Any particular actors, whether that's on stage or on screen? Um, uh, Sandra,
Yeah.
Huh?
Sandra, do you want to go first, or
Sure,
Jearnest?
sure. Whichever. I don't. I would say Miriam Colon. It has been.
Mm.
She was a mentor of mine. May she rest in peace. And she was amazing. And the way that I got to meet her was that I was her reader. I was, whenever she had auditions, she hired me as a reader, and so I would get a master class every time that that I helped her out with her lines for the audition. It was amazing. So I would say Miriam Colon was one of my first heroes, that I look up to, and I still look up to her because even though she's gone, I call upon her spirit to help me whenever I'm going to go on stage or whenever I'm going to do anything. And it's we can call upon our ancestors, and not that she's my ancestors, but she came from Puerto Rico. She established the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater. She was with the producer, the very first ever in the Actors Studio. So yeah, I would say Miriam Colon.
And
Doña Miriam Colon.
Definitely Dakota Fanning. Like, I wanted to be a young star, so seeing her was definitely like, oh my God, I want to be like her. She's always been so mature, and I found, like, even when I was 8 years old, I was like that serious too. Like, I took my career very seriously. And novela actresses too. I definitely grew up watching a lot of novelas. The Belinda, Dana Paola. I wanted to have my own soap opera. I wanted to do like concerts around the world. Like, I wanted to be that.
I know there are a lot of young actors and actresses watching, particularly young Latinas and Latinos dreaming of an acting career. Do either of y'all have any advice or lesson or memory that really sticks out to you that you'd like to share with our young talent?
I'm just like, I feel like I can like bring here like the Bible of like all the knowledge. And okay, to answer your question, which I hope I understood, just give them advice on like how it's being an actress right now at this point in time. Is that really
Yeah,
the
like if
question?
there's, it's up to you. Either if there's like a moment that like sticks out to you that you wish you could share so they don't make maybe the same mistake, or
Oh, that's good. That's actually
Oh,
a good
that's a
one.
good one.
I was
Yeah.
actually thinking about this. I was actually thinking about my first time on a set, which I feel like, again, we talk about the business, we talk about the acting, but a lot of people don't tell you who's your boss on a TV set. And I feel like, I always knew, okay, the director is my boss, or the first AD. But really, I started learning as I was doing. And I feel like this is something that I hope, if you're watching this, it helps you. When you're on a TV set, your boss is the showrunner, is usually the writer, the executive producer, or like the people that like in TV world, the writers are the boss, right? Am I right, Raymond?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
TV is a writer's medium, so the writers are where the decisions are being made.
Yeah. So like one of the things that I learned, like my first thing was the Fosters, was definitely like I was always waiting for the director, and usually the directors are not that important. Like, they're important, but like the writer is really the one like taking the biggest decisions and like kind of like helping you and guiding you and running the set. So I would say definitely try to learn beforehand who's who on a set before you arrive. Try to learn the names, try to like try to know a little bit more about the set world before you enter. Like one thing that I definitely advise people, I took film classes as well. Like I have a BA on TV and film production. So I kind of like now know like who is who and what they do. Your first AD is going to be the most important person aside from the director and the producers, because that's a person that's going to, you know, make sure that everyone is on time and that you are where you need to be. But another thing that I was going to mention, which this is the funny part of this whole anecdote, is that my first time on a set, I was surrounded by other castmates who didn't necessarily go on set a lot. So anytime they would go on this big set, they would try to get as many candies and like snacks from the table and put them in bags. Don't do that. don't like be respectful. Don't try to like go to places and try to like grab all the snacks and like, I don't know, just little things like that. Try to like learn etiquette before going on a set. That would be the best advice. Try to learn like the way, like arrive there 10 minutes before, like try to, you know, am I making sense, Raymond?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I
These
mean,
are
I
little
think
things that people don't tell you about, but like,
to what Sandra was saying earlier too, is just like having exposure, like information is powerful. I feel like we say this in every conversation, we say this every time. The more you can just know what's going on before you're being put in the hot seat, the better you are in terms of operating. And like you're saying too, just like being mindful, being respectful, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone does have a job. Everyone's job is important. And so just being mindful, being respectful of.
being mindful, no matter how big or small you are, always go on a set and be and be honorable and be respectful. And also one
I
thing that I will say, oh sorry, Sandra, I will give you your
I would
chance
like
right now.
to add, I would like to add to what you said. I mean, once you're on set, then you know you're at a certain level in your career where you're already going on set. But one of the things they definitely do not teach you is when you're in front of stars like Mark Ruffalo, like Johnny Depp. Like, what do you do? You know, it's like, how do you behave? You almost go like, oh my God, you know? And so that is something that was, to me, I remember that. And I'm like, even though I knew I was going to be working with Mark Ruffalo, the moment he came and sat next to me, and you know, we were not filming at that point. He came and sat next to me, and I'm like, ¿Y qué hago yo ahora? You know, what do I do? And so that is, you always have to be like, just try to be yourself as much as you can, you know?
That's so true.
Yeah.
Actually, that's so funny, Sandra. I'm gonna say something really quick. Like I remember when I was
No.
on a sitcom and I was working with Nina Dobrev, and like for those who don't know who Nina Dobrev, she was Elena Gilbert on Vampire Diaries, and I literally learned how to act in English thanks to her because I was obsessed with that TV show growing up in high school. And I, to this day, I feel like if people watch my acting, they might see a little bit of Nina Dobrev's skills there because I literally started mimicking her and learning, you know, how to act for TV thanks to watching her show. And years later, I worked with her on a sitcom, and she started talking to. She came to me. She said, "Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. What's your name?" And I was like, "Jearnest Corchado." I didn't even ask like, "What's yours?" Of course, we all know who she was. And like the whole time I was there, I couldn't speak. Anytime she would talk to me, I was like, thanks. Like I could not, like it was so bad. And until this day, I'm like, one day I'm gonna meet her and I'm gonna say I'm so sorry for being such a weirdo.
Yeah.
Thank you both again for your time today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys giving us the do's and the don'ts. And I know everyone watching is going to be that much more thankful. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Sandra. I
Thank
learned so much
you.
from you.
Thank you. I want to know about the women's group that you have going
Yeah.
over
Oh, I'll
here in
let you
Puerto
know. I'll
Rico.
let you know.
That
I
would be
know.
nice. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Gracias.
Thank
Lindo
you.
día.
Igual. Chao.
Here's a special shout out to our sponsors. Once again, my name is Raymond Arturo Perez. Thank you.